Hi, hello, welcome to another Kayo Data Tech tutorial. Today we're gonna look into the SQL and we will focus on joins. Namely, we will focus on one of the most basic joins you're gonna do in SQL, so the inner join. The inner join is all about finding the same data in two tables. But how does it exactly work? So you can see here that I have prepared small tables for us, so one from the Lord of the Rings characters and one with the weapons. So I already executed the select star from. You can see the content of this table here and the content of this table here. And now we will do the join or the inner join to actually connect them. So what we want to do, we want to have the information from both tables in the same result. So let's start off. I'm going to type select, then a star, and then we're going to type from, not character. We don't need an alias here. And I'm going to type inner join. And now how does the syntax look like? So we type exactly like this. So we go with select, then columns. Here I use all columns just to show you the result. So I'm going to select star. From one table, inner join another table, so that's going to be weapons on, and now the join itself. So the join itself happens by one table finding exactly the same value in a particular column in another table. So we will look at the weapon ID from Lord character, so this, and we will look for this value in this table. And this is exactly what the SQL engine will do. So it will try to match this one with another one here and try to bring other data from, for example, this column into the result. So we're gonna do weapon ID equals ID. And let's see what will happen. I'm gonna run the query. And we have an error. What is the error? The error says the column ID is ambiguous. What does it mean? It means that here we have the ID column both in this table and in this table. So SQL engine doesn't exactly know what is the ID we are referring to. So what we have to do, and let's close the output here, is we have to specify from which table a column is taken. So here, I'm going to move that to the next line, maybe move it with a tab, and I'm going to be more precise. So I'm going to go with weapons.weapon ID. Sorry, that's actually Lord character.weapon ID, weapons.id. So now we know that this column is coming from this table and this column is coming from this table. Let's run it again. And now we have it. Now you can see that we have the weapon ID exactly matching the ID in the other table. And you can already see what happened. So what happened is that inner join helped us to give us the result where we have the data from two tables joining together in one single table. You can of course add another inner join to join yet another table, but I want to point your focus to one particular thing. So you can say, okay, Sam and Mary and Pippin have a null in the weapon ID. So why didn't we join this with the null here? Why? It is because null doesn't join with anything. The reason is null is not really a value. Null is simply lack of a value, something that we don't know what it is. Basically, null is not equal to a null. If you think about it here, 1 is equal to a 1, 2 is equal to a 2, and so on. But null is not equal to a null. Therefore, we couldn't perform an inner join because this is not a common value. So this is how the inner join works. We can of course do a little bit polishing here on this query. So for example, I can use an alias here. Let's type LC here and W here. So this means that for all this query, I can use LC as a shortcut for this table name and W as a shortcut for this table name. So that means I can replace this lot character with LC and replace this weapons with a W. Let's run it again, and then again it runs. Another thing I can do is I can, instead of using a star for all of the columns, use just what I'm interested in. So in my case, that would be only a name of the character and a weapon this character uses. So I'm gonna do lc.name, comma, w.weapon. And that means I'm only taking these two columns, so name and weapon. Actually here, I'm taking, of course, the name here from this table, from lot character, and the weapon from this table. And only by the magic of the inner join, I will have them in a result. You don't have to have the columns on which the inner join is happening as a result of the query. You just define them in the inner join here. So if we run this, you can see now the same result, but with less amount of columns, and this is what we were after. We have the inner join, so we have the common values that brought us information from two different tables, and now we know which weapon was held by which Lord of the Rings character. By the way, if you feel that your Excel skills needs polishing, you definitely should check out this SUMIFS tutorial, because it will give you quite a lot of information how to handle complex multi-condition formula in any given tracker or report. Thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.